you guys a question. It's the first question for the channel. And this question is a topic I want to actually discuss with people. I never had this topic to discuss, and it's, what is your scariest story of your life? Plain simple. What's your scariest story? And that's broad. That can be you was in a car accident, you didn't think you was gonna make it out. You saw a scary movie and you went to bed that night and you thought you saw something in the corner. What's your scariest story? I have one, and I'm going to tell my story in a second. But what is your scariest story ever? Okay, guys. So first of all, this is Dark Knight Radio. I'm Dark Knight. Hope you guys are doing good. So my scariest story involves a family member when I was a little kid. And the thing was, I was very hyperactive as a child. I was always into stuff. I was always messing with people. I was that weird kid. I couldn't keep my hands off stuff. I was just so bad. I was just everywhere. I was always into something. Kind of like I am now. As a kid, I used to tell stories. I used to get into a lot of stuff. So at night, I want to say for a month or two, I would get out of my crib. And it was my grandmother who was taking me out of my crib. And a crib is a normal size height crib. It's impossible for a kid to get out of a crib that's 3, 4, 5 years. So I used to share the room with my brothers at that time. I think my middle brother. And so every night around the same time, my grandmother would let me out my crib, and they would wonder, how are you in your oldest brother's room at night? What are you doing? Why are you down the steps? Why are you in the hallway? Why are you in the kitchen? Why at this time every night you're everywhere in the apartment? What are you doing? Go to sleep. Okay, fine, cool. But she would let me out of my crib every night, and she would play with me. She would hold my hand and walk me down the hallway, down the steps, in my my parents' room, the bathroom, my brother. So one particular day, I guess, they got tired of seeing me everywhere. They just asked, as a child, I'm like no older than 5 years old, how are you getting out of your crib? So I said, well, easy. Grandmom, she's taking me out the crib. She has her long hair. She's a red bone, kind of a heavy set lady. She's taking me out the crib every night. That's how I'm getting out. Please don't whoop me. Please don't chastise me. It's not me, I promise. It's just what I'm thinking as a little kid. Of course, I'm not saying this. So they look at me, they look at each other, look around. I'm thinking, what's the problem? What's going on? And my dad is confused, to say the least. He's looking, he's like, your grandmother. Well, I forgot to mention to you guys that my grandmother died before I was born. Right, you heard right. My grandmother died before I was born. When I described her, when I said grandmama is taking me out the crib, they were already confused. They was already like what the hell? Now, this 5-year-old kid just described a woman in which he's never seen in his life. Can you imagine? Just think if anyone has kids and you have a family member that has passed and they tell you, well, I see that family member every night. They play with me, they talk to me, and they describe them to a T, so they're not lying. What would you do? What would you say? How would you feel? What would you do? Be honest. What would you do? Because you know, if that particular family member died before that kid was born, you have no pictures, no discernible pictures, nobody to tell you. Can't nobody tell a kid, she looked like this, and when they ask you, no, there's no faking that. It's not. So you have to take it for what it's worth. You have to charge it to the game. And for the longest time, it was something that my family didn't want to talk about because they knew I wasn't lying. And that was my first brush with the spiritual realm, the supernatural realm, because it was vivid. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. And this is something I cannot make up. So that being said, I want to know, how would you feel? Actually, it's a two-part question. How would you feel if someone told you, your child, your sibling, your parents told you they saw a family member they never really seen before? And what's your scariest story? That's mine. To me, that still frightens me to know that I came close. When I came close, that I was close to the supernatural. I felt it, I touched it, I smelt it, I laughed with it. They say as a kid, you have some of your frontal lobe that's not developed, so you can see like the supernatural. I'm not sure. That's a scientific fact. If anyone knows like the proper term or the proper the lobe name or whatever, please put it in the comments so I can see, so I won't be just talking. But let me know if that's a real thing or not, because I researched it. So if someone can tell me, what's the proper term or the condition, whatever, let me know. Put it in the comments. But I want to know, what is your scariest story? I feel like this is fitting. We're approaching October. We're approaching Halloween. Please, I want to know this. I want to share this. Please put it in the comments. Let's talk about this, because this is something I've been dealing with now my whole entire life. I would never forget this particular story about my grandma. So guys, please subscribe, comment, like this video, please. If you like this video, please comment on it. All right? Until next time, guys, you be good. You be safe.